Hi everybody, and welcome back to Dining with Dogs. Today we'll be making the cake from Portal, which looks to be a Black Forest cake. We'll start by preheating our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit before mixing our dry ingredients in a large glass bowl. We'll combine 2 cups of flour, half a cup of carob powder, 1 cup of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 teaspoons of baking soda, and 3/4 teaspoons of salt. Note that we only put in about half the amount of sugar we would normally use and replace cocoa powder with carob, since this is primarily for the dogs. Make sure these dry ingredients are thoroughly mixed before moving on to the wets. For the wet ingredients, we'll add 3 eggs, 1 cup of milk, and half a cup of partially melted butter. Now that we have all of our cake ingredients, we'll go ahead and beat this mixture until it's thoroughly incorporated. I would recommend using a stand mixer for this to avoid making a mess like me, but for some reason I thought it would be smart to use a clear glass bowl to provide a better view. We'll be making cupcake-sized cakes today as they're more dog size, so now that our batter is prepared, let's get our cupcake pan ready with the paper liners and dispense a nice scoop of batter into each cup. It looks like I have a little leftover batter, so let's go ahead and make some mini bundt cakes as well. Now that our pans are prepared and the oven is preheated, let's put our cakes in the oven. We'll start with a 25-minute timer. While our cakes are in the oven, let's prepare our frosting, which will be comprised of a layer of whipped cream and a coating of shaved carob to replace the shaved chocolate you would normally see on this type of cake. We'll start with our carob since it will need time in the freezer to set up. We'll mix about 100 grams of carob powder, 100 grams of refined coconut oil, and 50 grams of xylitol-free peanut butter. It totally slipped my mind, but if you want this to taste good for humans, you may also want to add some sugar at this stage. We'll heat this mixture over low heat while stirring constantly to ensure that the carob doesn't burn. Once mixed, we'll pour the carob over a wax paper-lined baking sheet and place in the freezer. While we wait for the carob to harden, let's move on to our whipped cream. We're just going to pour some heavy whipping cream into a glass bowl and go to town with our hand blender. This is another instance where I'd really recommend going with a stand mixer if you have one available, as you can see me flinging partially mixed whipping cream across my kitchen. Let's go ahead and add some more whipping cream before things get really out of hand. Okay, our first guess was correct and 25 minutes was perfect for these cakes. Let's get them set aside on some wire racks to cool while we turn our attentions back to our carob. The carob is hardened nicely in the freezer and it's ready to be shaved. This involves holding one end of your hardened sheet firmly while scraping the edge of a knife against the carob and toward your stomach. Be careful not to cut yourself here. If you aren't able to get enough shavings before your carob warms and softens, you may need to place your tray back in the freezer. Now that we have our cakes, our whipped topping, and our carob flakes, let's get to assembling. We want this to look like a real miniature cake, so I'm going to trim the edge of the muffin top off. And that tastes pretty nice, kind of like a bran muffin. Anyway, we'll cut the cake in half and add a center layer of whipped cream, then proceed to coat the outside of the assemblage with more whipped cream and attempt to create a nice consistent layer. Once we're satisfied, we'll take our carob shavings and coat the entire surface of the cake. Yeah, this got messy really quick as the carob started melting. I may need to use a different formula for these shavings next time, but I think we did it. One last thing though, we need to top it with a cherry. There we go. Let's cut some miniature slices and see what the dogs think.
Okay, so we're giving him his first.
Sure, yeah. Let's give him the bigger one probably.
I was gonna say, give him the nice, beautiful piece of cake here. Oh, you ready? Sit.
Oh, wait, a sec.
Oh. He's so ready. Alright, stay.
Okay.
Oh, Stella.
Oh, Stella's coming now. Uh-oh. Okay, well.
Alright, sit. Stay. Nope. Stay. Alright, go.
Oh, have we been snubbed? We'll eat it?
I think he'll eat it.
Yeah. We use a garbage disposal. Basically, so. I think he's mainly just... Oh! He's gonna get a big bite. There he goes. Alright, Stella, let's see. Let's see if Stella wants some. It's very exciting.
Alright, sit. Stay. You know how good you are at staying. Stay. Alright.
Yep. It's like this is soft and it's easy to eat on my really gross Iggy teeth. Yep. And wow, even Stella, the picky eater, just licks the plate clean. What do you think, Stella? Hey, Stella, what do you think? Is that good for you? No? Okay. Bye-bye. You're welcome. You can have it if you want to sell it. I'm not gonna stop you. Go for it. You want a big bite? Want a big bite, Stella? Oh, she got the cherry. Alright, Poe, I think it's time to take you on a walk. See if he gets angry at me. Nope, I think that's it. Sorry, dude. I can't give you that much food. Get the mustache. Oh, alright. Good dog, Poe. Good dog. But no more.